Welcome to the DKM podcast. This is currently episode 48, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Sadly, Kenny cannot be joining us. He is doing, he's busy with his midterms. So good luck to him. Hopefully he passes, everything goes well on his end. And he'll be joining us shortly afterwards. But it's just Daniel and I. We missed a week, obviously, because of the Halloween festivities. Last week we usually record towards the end of the week, so there's there's your reasoning on why we skipped a week. But I had a great Halloween, spent it with the family. Everything was cool. Barbecue, just engaging with the trick or treat festivities, and that's really it. Nothing too crazy. How about you?
Did you leave a bowl of candy?
I was at my cousin's house and we were giving out candy as kids came in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. I can't remember the last time, like in my neighborhood at least, the kids were trick or treating and they like dropped out, they got any candy. I remember one time when I was like, I think it was right before middle school. I was trick or treating one last time and like nobody was giving out candy for Halloween. I don't know why. Everybody in this neighborhood is just a massive stick in the mud. No one really did any decorations or anything crazy.
Lately, people have been talking about how old is too old when it comes to trick or treaters, and people are talking about if you're an adult, well, carting around the baby in your little, your little baby wagon, is that valid? And honestly, at this point, it's more of a cultural thing and not a traditional thing when it comes to Halloween. People don't even know the origins of Halloween and what it truly meant or what it truly means. So just because you don't want to give candies to adults dressed up, I mean, it's sort of like you being what's that called? What's the Christmas term when you're a downer when it comes to Christmas festivities? A
I think a Debbie Downer.
Debbie Downer, yeah, but there was a specific name.
Oh, a Scrooge.
Scrooge. There you go. And like it's just candy, dude. Just give them one piece and let them be on their way, I guess. But I don't know. But obviously, when it comes to teenagers,
I mean, it sucks if you're like babysitting kids and you're taking them trick or treating. You're just like, man, like I gotta walk around with these fucking brats all day, and you're like, man, I can't get like a fucking Kit Kat bar,
right?
like something like that. But that's why you have parental figure taxes that the kids got to pay for candy.
Basically, and honestly, if a kid's young enough, they're probably not gonna complain too much because the while I was with my family, other people were obviously they brought their own kids, and they did trick or treating. All I really want was the smallest bag of Skittles because I haven't had Skittles in a while, and I was just craving it for that 1 second. But it was nice. It was nice. I didn't ask. I didn't demand it. I'm just like, hey, toss me a Skittle over here. But at the end of the day,
Just put the Skittles on the floor and give it to me.
right. So at the end of the day, It was a nice event, through and through. And
Yeah, my Halloween, the reason why I've tweeted this out that I just got really sick, like really fucked up with a fever and a sore throat. And right after I recovered, I had to go back to work on Halloween, and then I was back on vacation. So I took Monday and Tuesday off, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday off, and then I had to work on Halloween, and now I'm back on Monday and Tuesday off again. So yeah, I had to enjoy my job during Halloween, but thankfully it wasn't bad. There was only like one thing that happened. Some guy accused our valet that apparently they stole their earbuds, but it's like, dude, you have like Apple AirPods. Those things could track anything. Why the fuck are you wasting your time here? They're in Key Biscayne. You're over here in Brickell. Like that's not helping us, But he was so adamant that like trying to get one of us in trouble. It was just like it was ridiculous, but whatever. Nothing really came much out of it. But yeah, it makes me. I used to get like super anxious going to work on the holidays because and I think I've told the story before where like back in 2020 in the 4th of July when people were just being incredibly rude and obnoxious and they were just trying to throw as much parties as possible because everything was closed. It just made me so anxious. Like anytime I had to work on the holidays, it just always made me anxious. Like motherfucker, I had to call a guy on Christmas Eve because he just wouldn't close the goddamn door, and now he's kicked out of the property. Thank God. But it's always annoying when you work on the holidays.
I think with regards to just treating people in general with any service, it gets even more annoying during holidays because people have this certain expectation that hey, it's the festivities. I should be treated a different way, or everyone should be a little bit nicer and whatnot. Especially when it comes to people drinking alcohol as well. People
Yeah,
tend
oh
to
yeah.
act a specific kind of uh, degeneracy. So, eh.
Yeah, I chalk it up as just selfishness and just being a fucking prick, but whatever. That's here nor there. But yeah, Halloween really wasn't that exciting. Though I will say this though, my favorite thing that did happen during Halloween was that I convinced a friend of mine to stream Five Nights at Freddy's VR for the first time. Man, that was some prime fucking content.
Mhm.
I keep telling everybody to watch the VOD because it's like the funniest shit ever. If I could do some selfish plugging real quick, you guys should check out my boy at twitch.tv/soulceleste underscore. Homeboy did a phenomenal Halloween stream and it was fucking hilarious.
I will
Definitely
say when
recommend
it
you give
comes
it a
to
watch.
VR, I do like the certain atmosphere the games itself capture when you're obviously in VR. Obviously, your senses are, what do you call it? They're blocked. They're no longer being. You're now basically invested into this thing. So, what makes it better is like, if you're playing VR, just be careful where you're walking. Honestly, be aware of your surroundings before before you put on the goggles because people running into shelves full of vases and stuff, and it's not good. Yeah, so like it's just
Ah, my vase collection.
or just they trip over something,
Not
and
my
it's just
vase collection.
plenty of videos out there.
Yeah. No, I had to go. I had to go to my friend's place literally on one of my days off, literally just to set up the headset and make sure I get the tracking down and make sure I get the guarding set up. And yeah, thankfully he hasn't hit anything and he hasn't broken anything, so that's good. Definitely, it was really fun. I'm trying my best to get him into making that content available on YouTube, which we'll get to that later. So, anyways, let's move on from the Halloween festivities talk. So, Marcos, any interesting things you want to talk about?
Uh, Maybe it's niche, I guess, when it comes to certain uh internet circles that you want to be in for gaming and whatnot. But like obviously the Bloodborne demake is coming out, so for
Mm-hmm.
anyone who's unaware of what this game has or that it's what it entails. It's much like it's basically its namesake, right? Bloodborne that came out for the PS4, exclusively on the PS4. It's getting a fan made demake, and it's essentially like its namesake. It's being reverted. The graphics are being reverted to PlayStation One era graphics. So people would wonder, hey, so why would anyone want to play this? Because the original version of the game it looks better, has better graphics and whatnot. And yeah, sure, this is just appealing to a market of people who truly enjoy uh, that PlayStation One feel, the whole hey, I kind of like the sound effects, the atmosphere that the PlayStation One has, the lighting. Yeah, so people are enjoying the environment, the atmosphere, XYZ. So it's one thing that a lot of people obviously who have played the original PlayStation, the original Xbox, so on and so forth, are enjoying this polygon mm, art, I guess. So it's Bloodborne, just basically downgraded graphics wise to match this PlayStation One atmosphere, and it looks great. Sound effects look awesome. The frame rate is super smooth, and for the most part, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice, and I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, with this whole talk about the Bloodborne remake, people were talking about it's possible that Bloodborne's coming to PC because of this whole PlayStation for PC, and there's even talks about Blue Point working on a Bloodborne 2 development. So right now, the whole uh, Bloodborne, Souls, Dark Souls, Sekiro, and even Elden Ring, like circle, going crazy because everything's happening one after another. Because we already know Elden Ring is getting a release date, Bloodborne remake is getting a remake, and yeah, so it's quite a time to be alive right now if you're in this circle.
How do you make it turn it back down into a Super Nintendo game, a PlayStation 1 game, and things like that. And I look at this as just a really neat project, and the fact that this was done from a community standpoint is pretty damn impressive. Actually, I was just watching the trailer while you were talking about it, and yeah, it definitely does look really good. So I'm definitely trying it out. It's going to come out in January 31st in 2022, so that'll be something fun to stream. But yeah, Marcos did bring up recently that Sony has rebranded its division, because before I think the Sony like the PlayStation branding on like PC on Steam, for example, I think it was called like Sony Mobile Gaming Department or something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, as recently we found out that games like God of War, the 2018, right? God of War was 2018.
I believe so, yeah.
God of War 2018 is coming to PC, which is pretty damn freaking cool. Like that's like completely out of nowhere. It is just like, hey, we're just gonna start releasing our exclusives on PC, which makes me pretty happy, because you know, at the end of the day, like my favorite thing, and I know I sound like a selfish asshole, but whenever like a console exclusive gets released on PC, my favorite thing just to read is all the angry replies of people saying like, "Oh, you abandoned us! How dare you release this game?" Or they sense they start taking the copium, and they'd be like, "Well, this game is old anyway, so who cares? You know, like enjoy your games, loser." And it's just like, all right, like I don't know, man. Is it like the game is only good when it's an exclusive, and then when it's no longer an exclusive, it's suddenly a problem now?
Right.
I don't know. I always find this shit really hilarious, but yeah, no, it makes sense from a marketing standpoint. Like, you obviously make exclusives to sell those consoles. Companies care about, you know, the first initial sales of a game. They rarely care about the sales afterwards. Think of it like with movies. You know, with movies, they really care about ticket prices, and then afterwards they care about if the movie does well in the rental and physical market. That's always been a thing. You know, it's always been the initial buy-in, how many people buy these games or these products when they come out. You know, that's how they gauge if something's a success or not, you know. So the fact that Sony is going out of their way to make a dedicated, you know, brand department for bringing their games on PC makes me really happy. It makes me really excited. It makes my selling my PlayStation 5 a lot less of a harder pill to swallow, because yeah, I sold my PlayStation 5 during the week because yeah, I saw that State of Play, man. And did you watch it, Marcos?
The what?
The State of Play?
For can you repeat that?
Do you even know what a State of Play is?
Yeah, I know, but like for what?
Yeah, for Sony, like the PlayStation thing. Have you seen it? Like the recent
original?
one? No, the one that just happened.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that pretty much case point exactly. If you know there's a Nintendo Direct, you're going to fucking know there's a Nintendo Direct. But, man, I don't know. Sony's State of Plays are just the most boring fucking thing ever, and it just makes me sleep. And, yeah, that State of Play, man, oh, man, I was really begging, you know, really betting on Sony, being like, hey, man, I hope they put something out there that makes me want to get a PlayStation 5 game soon, because holy shit, like, I'm not down to buy every PlayStation exclusive just because it's a PlayStation exclusive. But yeah, no, I after that State of Play, I was just like, man, I'm done. I can't. I'm sorry. It's been what, like 6 months since I had the system, and again, the only 3 games I've been playing is Demon's Souls and the Spider-Man games. That's it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to sell it now. When Spider-Man 2 comes out, I might pick it up again, and hopefully there'll be more games to play and the system will be more readily available.
I think when it comes to PlayStation as a whole, I still don't see quite the what do you call this? The need to get a PlayStation 5 the same way I don't see a big need to get an Xbox Series X and S. And when it comes to consoles as a whole, seeing the what do you call this? Seeing the market going from PC instead of consoles, and by that I mean even exclusivities, exclusive titles just honing into the PC market, because obviously Microsoft has been wanting to tap into this market, and now Game Pass is rather darn well successful, although Game Pass is a lot superior on consoles than it is on PC. I'm pretty sure Microsoft is trying to keep their clientele there, trying to make it more convincing for you to get an Xbox console, which I guess makes sense. But
Yeah,
with regards to,
I'm willing to bet that that's the main thing they're betting on. That they're not trying to be like, hey, look at all these exclusives. It's more like, hey, buy our console and pay a monthly subscription fee. You get access to this gigantic library.
right. So when it comes to uh, PlayStation going on PC, I'm pretty sure they're just tapping into that market because uh, I'm pretty sure both Microsoft and Sony know about the whole, hey, we're getting issues with creating stock for our consoles or new gen consoles, and not enough people getting it because people keep complaining about it. People keep getting saying that, hey, I don't want to buy from a scalper. I'm pretty sure some PR team is in charge of this, or some team out there is aware of all this that's happening. And honestly, at the end of the day, Sony and yeah, Sony and Microsoft, I'm sure they're absolutely aware of the current state of the console market. So seeing how PC has become a little bit more easier, a little bit more organized when it comes to actually having a rig. Even pre-built PCs aren't as bad as they once were in the past. It seems that tapping into this market that exists already is something that PlayStation or Sony and Microsoft have been wanting to do for a while, but it seems like um, Sony is finally biting the bullet and saying we're just gonna do PC now fully. Uh, well, not fully, but with certain games. Now, I don't quite.
Yeah, it's more like they're gonna be like, hey, we're gonna release a console exclusive, and then 3 years down the line, when the game isn't making money on the system anymore, we're just gonna sell it on PC so people could just buy the game again.
Right. So I think um, with regards to the people who have this whole no, it's got to be an exclusive for this console only. Honestly, it's you're not convincing anyone here with your emotional rhetoric because the amount of games that have been released exclusively on one console, and then within the week, it's already on PC because someone just basically transferred it over because it is what it is. Like with Metroid Dread, with Breath of the Wild, with Bloodborne, people managed to just like rip the game, and now it's playable for PC because a team of people just said, "Hey, look at what we did. Now you can download the game if you want." Sure, then I
Is
might.
there a way to play Bloodborne on PC?
I'm sure there's a backdoor way to do it.
I mean, like, I'm just saying because there's a lot of like really shitty fake emulators that come around and say like, hey, download this PlayStation 4 emulator. We definitely know what we're doing.
I get it. I get it. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything about it, but seeing how there's plenty of like memes out there. One famous meme is the Bloodborne cart, and that was obviously done on PCs where they start racing on the cart that takes you to Canehurst, and it's obviously something that was not done on console. So it
Well, yeah, but that's a whole separate thing altogether.
no, because someone was able to rip it into PC and then use that to make a meme out of it, which was Bloodborne cart. All I'm saying is that I'm sure there's someone out there, a team of people, even and by a team I mean maybe like a handful of people, just like, hey, we can do this, and they just do it. But regardless, like those people who are just console elitist, I guess, saying that, hey, you should. This game is now worth less because now it's no longer exclusive. Like, I guess you can stay hating the world in your little bubble, but it's not gonna really change anything because companies still want to make their money. But
Exactly.
what are the main?
And these companies aren't your best fucking friend. They see you as a number.
Basically, same thing with any job market too. But with regards to having Bloodborne, like a lot of people bought a PlayStation 4 just for Bloodborne, and
I did.
eventually they bought other exclusives on there because obviously, Insomniac Spider-Man was a game that people even bought PlayStation 4s for as well. They're like, dang, this game looks amazing, so they just bought a PlayStation 4 just for it. Same thing with God of War. It's the thing that like really got them to play it because there are some people who went from PlayStation 3 to PC, and once they saw the gameplay for, I don't know, it could be a Spider-Man game, it could be God of War, it could be Horizons. They saw the gameplay, they were convinced, or Bloodborne, right? And they're like, dang, I'm gonna get a PlayStation now, even though I don't want to go back to console. This game is not legitimately on PC, so I gotta do what I gotta do. So, at the end of the day, it's your money. Do what you want, but I'm excited for this new venture. Obviously, I'm enjoying the Xbox games on PC since I have Game Pass. I wonder if this PlayStation on PC is going to be tied with PS Now. I never quite understood the whole hatred for having multiple launchers because it doesn't quite bother me. Because honestly, are you playing a whole bunch of games on like 20 different launchers like within a week? More than likely, you're just focusing on one main game, and every now and then you pick up a different game and you launch it. Unless you're streaming and you stream a whole bunch of different games, then maybe. But like, does the whole having multiple launchers ever bother you? Because like I can imagine having Game Pass launcher or games to launch your games on Game Pass. Now your PlayStation launcher, your Epic, your Steam, yada yada yada. Does that really bother you, Daniel? Because
Not for me, not really. I mean, I see the argument. It's like mainly the complaint usually attracts towards like the Epic Games Store. Like that's like the main point of contention where it's like a lot of people still find the Epic Games Store like experience still kind of lame. And with also the things that, like, a good example, I'm having this problem right now where it's like I really want to replay the Kingdom Hearts games, but I really want to buy them on PC because I heard a lot of good things about the PC port and high unlock frame rate and things like that. And it's like I want to get it, right. But every time like I start looking into it, I see 1.5 and 2.5 is still like $50, 2.8 is like still 40, and Kingdom Hearts 3, granted with the DLC, it's still $60. And to me, I already own those games on PlayStation 4. But if you know me, I'm the kind of guy that's like, I'll buy a game on console, and then as soon as it comes out on PC, I'll just buy it on PC for convenience and just for not having to play it through a system. You know what I'm saying? Um,
right.
I never really like complained about like multiple launchers. I just think that people don't like the fact that when a game is no longer available on Steam, you don't get the benefits like Steam friends, Steam discounts, blah 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 blah. It's mainly that's the point of contention. There's a launcher called GOG Galaxy that tries to kind of put all your launchers together into one thing, and it works okay. I mean, it does do a good job, but it kind of gets like really cluttered. And to put in perspective, Marcos, like I just opened this up right now. The number of launchers I have, let's see, I have Steam, Ubisoft Connect, Origin, which should be replaced with EA Play, GOG Galaxy, Rockstar, Twitch, because Twitch has its own launcher, Battle.net, Epic Game Store, Xbox. I don't know if you want to count like the Oculus as a launcher. Let's see, and you have the Bethesda Net launcher, which I don't even know why. I think I probably have like a game there or something, because like the only game I can think of that you need the Bethesda launcher is Fallout
And
76.
Elder Scrolls Online.
But that's also, yeah. Oh, and Elder Scrolls Online, but I don't want to play that. But then again, those games. Wait, isn't Fallout 76 on Steam now?
I'm not sure.
But yeah, that's just the main point of contention. It's just people. It's sort of like, oh yeah, Fallout 76 is on Steam now. It's people just like to have everything on one platform, and they just don't see things like the Epic Game Store as like a fair competition, And like, I really want to buy the Kingdom Hearts games on PC, but damn, it's really difficult for me to be like, I got to spend like over $100 to get all the games on PC when I already own them on PlayStation 4, and you could buy the all-in-one collection on PlayStation 4 for like $20 on the average. Like that's like the regular price nowadays.
The only thing that really, like, with regards to your mindset and attitude when it comes to owning a game on console than owning it on PC, like, I can agree with the whole, yeah, I would love to own this game on PC. I've already owned it on a console. But the only thing that's really pushing me back is two things, either save file and crossplay. Because if if the game is both cross save and cross platform, like Destiny, I have no problem with it, right? I'll play it on my PlayStation, I'll play it on my Xbox, and I'll play it on my PC, and I'll have no problem. The only backdraw is obviously I only have DLC for one platform and not for all three platforms. So that being said, the my main concern with that is like I'm playing the hell out of Fallout 76 ever since I got my PlayStation 5 because the load times are severely cut. And I've been enjoying the game with two friends. We've been playing nonstop, and it's been fun. So I would prefer to play it on PC because mouse and keyboard is just superior in any shooter. But the thing is, there's obviously no cross save nor cross platform. So those are the only things that's stopping me from buying a game both on console and on PC. The only thing that does convince me is like maybe it goes like on sale, or maybe it's on the Humble Bundle or something like that, that I'll just pick it up, or it's given to me, right? But like, um Before I had my PC, I had Call of Duty Cold War on my console, and then I got my PC. I got it there because obviously it's a shooter. Gotta play it on PC, you know? So I did that, and that's the last game I had that I share both on console and on PC. Now with this new Call of Duty Vanguard, I have it on PC, but I'm not gonna get it on console because there's no point. So it is what it
Right.
is.
I don't know why would you. I can't think of a situation aside from maybe the Switch where it's like I'll buy a game on console and I mean on PC and then buy it on like a console afterwards. Like I think that's just kind of like defeats the purpose. And also like another reason why is that I play on a 1440p monitor, so going from a 1080p resolution like screen on that monitor looks really fuzzy and really bad. So that's another reason why like I'd like to buy my games on PC whenever they come available. And that's another thing though, like usually whenever a game does get released on PC, you know, they know that most people are probably going to rebuy the game because they already own it on console, so usually they incentivize it. This is a later port of of a game on PC. They usually like sell it at a discount, you know, just to be like, "Hey, you know, we're going to sell you the game at a discount with the DLC to incentivize people to pick it up." But I get, you know, like Kingdom Hearts, like you probably had to put some R&D and the ports are good from what I've heard. You know, I get you got to make your money back, but man, Square, it's really hard for me to spend over $120, like I said, when you constantly put the all-in-one package for $20, and it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll sell my PS4 copies and just get it on the Epic Game Store when it rarely goes on sale. Like at best, I've seen it was like 40% off, maybe 30 to 40% off, but we'll have to wait and see.
With regards to having games both on console going at a specific price and obviously having it on PC at a completely different price or higher price, with regards in this case it's going to be Kingdom Hearts. The only reason people pay the $60 price point for a game is because that's what we're used to. It's what we are accustomed to. Now obviously the new gen consoles are doing the $70 price point, which Sony started, and it seems like it's going to stay with it. But with regards to that, like, honestly, people still pay full price for a game that's digital. When if you look at the research and if you look at the data, like you should be paying less. But obviously, that's not how it works, and people still.
Well, shit. Back in the day in the Super Nintendo, you had to pay like $80, and you had to pay almost $200 worth of fucking Plaque Attack on the Atari.
That's true. That's true. People weren't aware that games back then didn't cost $60. But that's become the norm now. Obviously, Sony's pushing for the $70 ones, which people are going on with. And some other companies are pushing for even a higher price point, like
Is Vanguard $70 on PC?
I'm not sure. I can't remember because I pre-purchased it
Let
a
me
bit
check.
ago. So all I know is that when it comes to just pricing, because it's been out for a while on consoles, obviously the defense there is it's been out for a while. Our market's already saturated with enough games, so if we put it on sale, maybe we'll pick up a few. But obviously on PC, it's still fresh. Technically, it's still fresh, and we're gonna have it full price on it because sure, you have it on other consoles have it cheaper, but it's never been truly released on PC. So people who only have a PC and want to buy the game legitly, well, it is what it is. You got to buy this or just deal with it. But either way, when it comes to just price differencings, I'm pretty sure the PlayStation one will always be more expensive because I don't know if Vanguard is actually $70. That's a good question to ask because
Because I know that Battlefield 2042 is not $70.
for PC.
Yeah, for PC. I remember that was a big when the game went on pre-order, which I'm not gonna get. I'm sorry, that beta completely fizzled out any interest I had in that game.
Yeah, the beta and the alpha have really turned off a lot of people with regards to.
I'm just not a big fan of the specialist system. I think it defeats the purpose of ever making a class in the Battlefield games. It's literally like playing like Call of Duty, but like without any of the fucking like I don't know, man. Like I went back to play Battlefield 1 when the beta dropped because I was just like not having a fun time, man. But I was having the time of my life playing Battlefield 1 again because the servers got populated again. And dude, like after years of like little quality of life changes, because I always told people like my go-to Battlefield game was always Battlefield 1. I never really liked Battlefield 3 or 4. I'm sorry to you, Battlefield 4, you know, diehard fans. I couldn't get into it. I don't like the aesthetic, and I really don't like the fucking bloom effect, and I just thought it was an eyesore, and it just wasn't for me, right?
Right.
But Battlefield 1, man, that game was so much fun. Was so much more fun for me. And I don't know, I just don't like the specialist system in 2042. It's like it was so simple. You had a healer class that only could use weapons that a healer class could use. You have the fucking heavy class because they have the LMGs. They could carry a little bit more. But when you could start putting any weapon on anybody and you could run like 5 medics, what's the point? Why would you ever bother switching classes at that point? Just run a medic and heal everybody around you.
Right.
Man, I don't know. That beta really, and technical issues aside and things like that, I don't know. That beta really, I don't know. It's not doing it for me, man.
Vanguard is 60 on PC and 100 for the special or the Ultimate Edition, which comes with a little like some in-game bonuses, but
oh yeah, of course.
yeah. But with 2042, a lot of people had the similar issues that you brought up with regards to like class setups, weapon selects, and also how it just runs on PC. Obviously,
on console as well, because like Actman was doing a whole video explaining all the bugs and glitches he dealt with on the Xbox One, and it was a fucking shit show.
That's true. But it turns out that our PC got the shorter end of the stick as well. But honestly, with regards to 2042, obviously people are excited to see a new Battlefield game that's not that or at least that's sort of feels like the games you don't care much about, the Battlefield 3s and 4s, but a lot of people have been having issues with these bugs. And sure, the game could be you use the excuse that the game is in beta, but like the beta ended a while ago, and the game releases a month after. It's going to be it's releasing in 5 days. So
yep.
Like is that enough?
All I'm going to say, guys, I don't think so. You know what I'm going to say right now? Mm-hmm. Remember Battlefield 4 at launch. Remember Battlefield 4 at launch. You remember. I remembered. That was a shit show. What did we learn from that, gamers? My fellow gamers. You don't buy these games at launch. Mm-hmm. They're always going to be fucked. Wait a couple months and get the game cheaper, and it's going to run better for you.
I think 2042 early access is on Friday. So if you have whatever the Battlefield edition you're getting, or whatever EA subscription you have, you'll be getting it early, and then its actual release date is the 19th, like for the rest of the world.
Yeah, I'm thankfully I don't have to worry about even buying it because it's already on Game Pass. So I'll give it a try, but I don't know. I'm not holding my breath. But then again, I need to upgrade my processor. So
yeah, but Daniel,
I'm not expecting
with regards
miracles.
To your whole wait a couple months for the game, you don't want to be one of those Christmas noobs that everyone makes fun of because you're starting to play the game on January, and you're gonna be made fun of because you get the game in the winter seasons. Don't you know?
Yeah, at least I won't be made fun of for buying a buggy game at launch.
I don't think I'd rather made fun of anyone who bought the game on
well, yeah, you're not a fucking loser. That's the point.
Yes. No, I mean, I've never made fun of anyone, actually just buying the game from the get-go. I'm just saying, like, hey, you shouldn't really complain about a game that's actually buggy at launch, because that's really how it goes. You're technically the...
Well, I mean...
another...
Well, I would say more like, hey, man, like, it sucks that you got a buggy game at launch, but you should have probably practiced a little bit better consumerism. But at the same time, these companies shouldn't get the pass either, Like, if you release a game, it should be fucking playable, not, broken.
Well, I get that. Listen, as much as I want to give the benefit of the doubt of, like, hey, perhaps they were going through some nonsense and whatever, the only reason why these games can't be delayed, and you should know this, is because in this corporate environment, investors want to see the returns, and they don't like the idea of delays. They don't like the idea of waiting out to make sure everything's working. They were told projections, they were told when they should see it, and they expected to be true. You didn't just lie to them that a game was going to be released this day, did you? But now you have to delay it 2 more times. So, like, that's one of the things that with Cyberpunk and like that. Yeah, with Cyberpunk, I have to defend them in one way because obviously the investors want their returns. They want to see their returns. They want to see and their investment actually bear fruit. So obviously these investors aren't going to be playing games. They don't care about it. All they care about is that the company makes a good game. That being said,
Profit margins.
Yeah, of course, profit margins. So of course, when it comes to like, obviously we have an outlier which is Halo Infinite that got delayed basically a year, and I'm so happy that it got delayed a year because the game looks so much better, so much more polished, so much cleaner, smoother, sexier, hotter, all the other adjectives you could put in there. But I'm sure the investors weren't entirely happy about it. But seeing how Microsoft works with regards to how they have the control over in their gaming industry, I'm pretty sure it worked differently with regards to investors. But obviously, with games like this, how Battlefield is going, and I'm pretty sure some investor that control or help with DICE, EA, etc. They don't want to see delays. They just want to see the product out there and make money. Obviously, everyone's going to flock to this game, even though it's in not the best of states, much like with Battlefield 4. Either way, investors just want their money back. Who cares about video games?
Yeah, but I'm not going to feel bad for a giant company conglomerate to tell their audience, like, hey, our game's going to come out at this time. Pre-order the game. Make sure you get the super special ultimate limited edition. It's like, oh, sorry, the game doesn't work. Haha. Like, no, I'm not going to feel bad for that. Like, no, you're not an indie dev. You're a fucking company with a bunch of investors. Like, I'm not going to feel bad for you. You shouldn't don't play the fucking sympathy card to me. Like, just don't release a game that's broken. If it needs time to be worked on, delay the fucking game.
Right.
Like to call our man Shigeru Miyamoto, a delayed game, a delayed game could be great. Rush game is forever bad. Like, there's a reason for that fucking quote.
Well, of course, and Shigeru Miyamoto being a developer, it's if only the world worked that way. But obviously, much like everything became more and more corporatized, it's not that easy anymore with regards to making games. Like even games that are delayed, not even delayed, yeah, even games that are delayed and they've really been put through like the iron to make sure they could take out any wrinkles in this game. Like, the game is still gonna have a good amount of bugs. Like, even though Windows 10 is basically been out for years, there's still bugs with it. There's still updates.
Oh yeah,
Microsoft,
because you're well, I was just gonna say, because like the thing with OS bugs like that, you're comparing people who have an OS that's been around for longer than the OS that just came out. Like Windows 11, is it out for the consumers yet?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Or, like, that's gonna be the same fucking thing. I didn't like Windows 8. A lot of people didn't like Windows 8. So what they did is they're just like, okay, I'm gonna wait for Windows. I'm just gonna go back to Windows 7 because that's been around the longest and it works for sure. So I'm just going to stick using Windows 7. I didn't use Windows 8 even after 8.1. I stuck with Windows 7 because that's the operating system that we just knows works better.
It looks like October 4th and 5th. Microsoft officially released Windows 11.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, with regards to some of these games, like, it sucks that a lot of game devs have to be pushed through crunch time. And for anyone who knows anything about crunch time, knows that it's not the healthiest of states to be in mentally, physically, because you're being forced to basically, not forced. I'm sorry. You're really what's the word? Convinced.
Employed.
Convinced, right? To by your higher ups, right? To say like, hey, this game needs to come out. We expect this to be done. I told my bosses it'll be done by the end of the week. I know it's gonna take 2 weeks, but see what we can do, right? And obviously they gotta push for crunch times because there's no way they can meet that deadline. So it is what it is. But yeah, so no one wants to piss off.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, Marcos. Like, I get it. Look, getting it delayed is not fun. It's a shitty situation for both, players that are excited and these companies that just want to get these games out and they want to let their people enjoy it. But here's the thing, though. I could give you a perfectly good example of a delay that did happen, and people are more than understanding. Not everybody, of course. There are going to be people like, I listen, I'm going to be upfront. I've never been that kind of guy that's like, I'm going to use my PTO time to go play a game at launch. I don't know. That's just not for me. Like, look, I like video games as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to use, because we live in our current system, PTO is a fucking it's a what's the word? It's a privilege. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something that you're always gonna have. So
Yeah, it
I don't
should be
know.
a
I'm not one of
privilege.
those kinds of. I agree. Uh, I'm not gonna be the kind of guy that's gonna use my PTO time to like go play a game at launch. Like, the only thing close that ever happened was that I was transferred from one department to another right in the middle of the time where like Metal Gear Solid 5 was dropping, and I was like, okay, cool, that's just a happy coincidence, but I didn't purposely plan for that, right?
Right.
And I could give you a good example of a delay that did happen, and people are more than understanding because they know that they trust that the developers are going to deliver a great product because that's what they've been doing. Final Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy 14 with the with the extended play demo that allows you to play the critically acclaimed expansion Heaven's Word up to level 60 with no limits on playtime. That Final Fantasy 14. And Walker got delayed for. It was going to come out earlier this month, and they said, Yoshi P, the producer, just said, "Hey, look, I understand you guys are really excited, but as I keep playing the expansion as is right now, there's so much more content I want to add. There's so much better things, and and you know what? The part that really fucks me up is the fact that he says like I feel like I'm selfish for making you guys have to wait a little longer, but it's because I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the great experience that we're promising you." And all I've been seeing on Twitter is people saying like, "No, Yoshi P, it's cool, man. Don't sweat it. We know you're going to deliver. We're going to do this, and that. We know that you're going to deliver a hell of expansion after delivering so many good expansions for Final Fantasy 14. A lot of people are more than understanding, but how many cases do we hear people do that anymore? Most of the time when people hear a game delay, they either get really bitter or start getting worried, or like, well, why is the game getting delayed? Is it because of a technical problem? Is it this or that? I just think that like what bothers me the most is like when you delay games so many times and then it's still a buggy piece of shit, then it makes me wonder, well, what the fuck were you doing?
Well,
Why?
I guess let me address your biases here. First and foremost, with regards to
Okay.
the Final Fantasy 14, has always been pumping out great stuff. Like, I mean, Final Fantasy 14 when it first released, it was
Well, yeah, it was a shit show.
actual
We all know
trash.
that, but
Yeah. But with regards to that, like, I think obviously it all depends on the consumers themselves, because people were really focusing on the minority. Because I'm pretty sure for the most part, if any game gets delayed, everyone's like, oh, well, damn, that sucks. But like everyone really, really focused on like Cyberpunk 2077 with all these threats, death threats, and whatever. But obviously, it was in the minority, and given the total state of social media, how everyone focuses on the minority, right? The loud minority. It is it like people just think that everyone was like that, but no, for the most part, obviously it was total, but that some devs got death threats because I took this time off. Now I have no more PTO left. Yada yada yada. Well, that's on you, buddy. It's called being an adult. Learn how to time manage, all right? But like when the game gets delayed, like even with Halo Infinite getting delayed, even that was received well. Like the delayed.
oh yeah, because the initial reveal was kind of
The
questionable.
same thing with Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Like that game I mean that game. I'm sorry. That movie.
We're talking about Sonic 06 here. You mean the epitome of
Sonic the Hedgehog
Rush?
movie. When that movie was
Okay.
delayed, it was received well, obviously, because there was flaws. But when Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed and they gave the reasonings, yeah, the minority, people focus on the minority. It is what it is. That's what human biology does. We focus on the negatives a lot more than positives, but oh well. But when it comes to like
Thanks,
but
Evolution.
when it comes to when it comes to the what Yoshida said about delaying it, yeah, people are still happy with the current product because they're playing the current product, so they're fine just with that what they have right now. And if the guy says, hey, the next expansion is gonna be cool, it is what it is. Obviously, it's working a whole lot better than Destiny 2 because Destiny 2 deleted a lot of content, so the game isn't so big. And now they're releasing this new DLC, this new expansion, at an absurd cost, and it's just nonsense. But yeah, at least
Wait, so they're gonna release DLC for a game that just went free to play? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All
not
right,
just.
well,
It's been
whatever.
free to play for some time now.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's just kind of weird. I mean, like, I get it if like you need to make your returns or something, and if the expansions are the only way these games are making any money, like, okay, that's fine. But like, I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for Endwalker. It sucks it's delayed till December, but I'm willing to wait. And besides, the way I look at it is like there's a lot of because whenever you're playing like an MMO, there's a lot of like pre-expansion content you want to do because you have that because you have that time in between the expansions. So the way I look at it is like, oh man, Endwalker got delayed, but the way I look at it is like, well, Shadowbringers just got extended.
Right. Okay.
So I'm definitely looking forward to Endwalker, so definitely play that when it releases in December 3rd or early access drops. But yeah, I actually want to talk about this really big topic that was announced ironically, while I was really sick, I got some really good news. So if you guys didn't know, I have recently tried streaming on YouTube instead of Twitch TV. So if selfless plug here, follow me on YouTube at Pepper Live TV on YouTube. I tried out streaming on YouTube earlier this week, actually, which was on Friday. It was Friday. I streamed Apex Legends on the YouTube streaming experience, and the reason why I did that is because, and I think I've made when we did that episode talk about streaming on Twitch versus YouTube, Marcos. I've always said that my biggest complaint I always felt with YouTube was that, as far as like the streaming side of thing goes, was that I always felt that YouTube always treated streaming like it was an afterthought. Like, yeah, you could stream on YouTube, but it's not a streaming platform. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think YouTube really properly like narrates it. Like, hey, we don't only just do video content; we also let people do live streams. And unless you're subscribed already to a live streamer, it makes it a little bit difficult for people to even know that live streams even happen on YouTube. But I guess they're doing something right now, because as I was looking up footage and things like that, I've noticed that I was recommended in the recommended tab a lot of live streams. I never got any of these like live stream recommendations on the related videos, so I think they're working something on the algorithm right now. But yeah, so earlier this week, the head of YouTube Gaming basically posted out an update that a lot of features are being added to YouTube streaming that a lot of people have been asking for, mainly gifted memberships. And I've always told people that listen, one of the bigger things I've always said is that YouTube streamers do make less money than Twitch streamers. Judging from math and judging from what I've seen, one of the bigger reasons is that there's no gifted sub option on YouTube. It looks like YouTube is working on fixing that. They are implementing finally gifted memberships, which from what I've heard, certain streamers, when they switched over to YouTube, like they were promised that like, yeah, gifted subs are going to be a thing on YouTube. It's going to come. But like then they switched over and 2 years in and they're like, hey, I don't even think this thing's going to fucking happen because I haven't heard a word about it, And I tried following the YouTube Gaming Twitter page to keep up to updates to see if they add anything, but I guess the main strat is to just follow the head of that department. So yeah, look up the head of YouTube streaming or YouTube Gaming. He'll give you the updates that you need, right? So that's pretty cool. That's really good. That's going to definitely help incentivize people to be like, okay, if I'm switching over from Twitch to switching over to YouTube, this is going to be a less harder pill to swallow, because now I could just know that there's another way to make that money, because that's how streamers make money on Twitch, was that they get money through bits and subscriptions, and gifted subs is definitely a bigger thing. I've seen people gift me subs for Twitch channels I only tune into a handful of times. Like I think I got like a gifted sub for Symphony and RCD. I forgot basically the guy who streams himself in Japan all the time. He's really cool. And I thought that was really cool. They said that they're improving the algorithm, which, judging by what I'm seeing right here, it looks like they're definitely doing it. Like, I was looking up footage for Call of Duty Vanguard. I said earlier that I'm getting a lot of streams on my related videos, so that's pretty good. They said that they're also going to introduce a feature to improve the clipping on YouTube streaming, which makes me happy, because the clipping on YouTube streaming doesn't work like Twitch, where it's like when you clip, it's like a separate little video. It's more like they give you a timestamp from A to B, and you could kind of like clip the video like that, but it's not like Twitch, to basically what I'm saying. And I think the last thing that they mentioned is let's see, gifted subs, improve algorithm, clipping, and rating. They basically worded it a little differently, because again, YouTube doesn't want to use like subscriptions and grades. They use like basically rating. You know what that rating is, right, Marcos? Where you take your audience from your stream and you push them all to another stream, just to kind of like give a little bit of exposure to another streamer, right? And speaking about exposure, and I think that this is what makes this whole news update so interesting. Around the same time that YouTube Gaming announces all these features that people have been wanting, a lot of people are excited. They're more like, okay, I'm more comfortable switching over, from Twitch to YouTube, assuming that the exclusivity contract runs out. Twitch announces a similar feature that pissed a lot of people off. So what Twitch announced around this time was that one of the biggest complaints, being a streamer in general, especially a new streamer, is getting known out there, because I've always argued that streaming or live streams in general are very not searchable content. You can't like type into a search bar and find exactly what you're looking for on a live stream compared to a YouTube video, right? So that's why whenever people are, look up advice like, hey, how do I grow as a streamer? How do I grow as a streamer? The best advice they tell you is like, hey, you got to make content on YouTube. You got to make content on TikTok. You got to make content this or there, because those platforms and that video content is what makes it much more accessible and searchable, and better yet, more like it just has a better algorithm, you know what I'm saying? So obviously though, if you're just a streamer and you don't have people who are making content for you, it makes it difficult for you to grow, right? Twitch announces something that they figured would solve the problem, but of course with monetary gain on their end. So Twitch announces this feature called boosting, which essentially what it is that you pay Twitch a certain amount, and then you get that person's live stream and it appears more on people's recommended live streams on the homepage, right? And obviously, that pissed a lot of people off, because for one thing, though, that's not the responsibility of the streamer. That's the responsibility of the streamer's audience. Because at many social platforms, including like I think like Twitter is the best example I could think of. You could pay like money towards the company and be like, hey, I want my tweet to get like really blow the fuck up. Like I want you to kind of get this tweet promoted. You know what I'm saying? So that's on the stream. That's on the owner of the account responsibility, right? But the fact that Twitch could come up to you and just be like, "Hey, man, you know that $5 you're about to give that guy because you want to help him pay his rent, because you really want to support him, make sure he doesn't go to bed hungry. Why don't you give us that money and maybe we can make him a star?" And of course that pissed a lot of people off, because it's like, imagine you want a solution to a problem and they're like, "Okay, we can solve it to you, but you got to pay us for it," and it's like, what the fuck,
Well, I've never liked the whole phrasing that, hey, this guy needs $5 donations to pay rent, or so he's not hungry. If this streamer is at that point, then that streamer's doing something wrong and should not be doing only streaming, or if anything, taking a break from streaming look at it more and like somewhere else, because honestly, that's not a good argument to have with regards to boosting. Because come on, $5 just so they can pay rent. Listen, if I can go somewhere where $5 is rent, I want to be there.
No, you're missing. You're missing the point entirely.
I know your point exactly. Boosting as a whole doesn't seem all that like as a good idea that Twitch should implement. It should fix a whole lot of other issues it has. But being recognized, or trying to get recognized on Twitch, is literally 1 in a billion chance, because Twitch is not a platform for those who are nobodies to become noticeable. Twitch has never been like that. I never recommend anyone starting from the ground up to just going into Twitch. That's a horrible example, and especially if you're doing exclusively Twitch. You'll never be recognized. But if this is their workaround on how horrible their algorithm is with regards to getting people noticed, then it's kind of lacking. Plus, they have to pay it. There is one line I didn't like what you said, that it's the responsibility of the audience to help boost you. And honestly, there is no responsibility on the audience, period, except give you the audience if they want to tune in.
No. What I mean by that is that going back to the Twitter example, me as the tweeter could boost that tweet. But imagine if you want to do that and you want to help me out, you have to pay Twitter to boost my tweet.
Right, of course.
That's what I'm talking about.
Of course.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to give the option to the streamer to be like, hey, here you go, like, here's an exploit, just pay us $5 and we'll get your stream more popular. Okay, that's still scummy, but at least, if I do that, that's my decision. You know what I'm saying? But Twitch is basically going up to the viewer of your stream, come up to you and be like, hey, man, that $5 you're about to give him to support this chap? Why don't you give it to us? We'll maybe make him a star. Like, that's scummy. That's a little bit lamey, and that's also kind of like emotionally manipulating your their audience in a certain way. And like the thing when I said about like the $5 pay the rent, it's just like, dude, I don't know, man. Like maybe you're not like me, but like when you get that first donation, that's kind of nice. It's like, hey, someone just says, hey, I really like your content. Here's $5. Like you entertained the shit out of me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I get
And
that.
like I know, like, and trust, and I get it. Like I know where you're coming from. There's a lot of people on the internet that like get really fucking money grubby. They start demanding money every fucking minute, and this and that. I get where you're coming from, but I'm just saying is that to some people, it's like they like a content creator so much where it's like, what's the difference if like I like a content creator, I want to buy their fucking merch. Like I'm still supporting them, but what's the difference? Like, well, I don't want to buy their shirt, but I'm just gonna give them $5 because, hey man, this guy gives me some good fucking content. You know what I'm
I
saying?
get it.
Like that's what I mean.
Now, to use your example, I guess you could use that $5 and donate them. However, statistically speaking, and obviously this is a new thing, has this been implemented already? Is this already out? The Twitch boosting?
From what I understand, it was in beta. Let me see if it's like officially a thing, because I don't know. Like the response was so bad that I don't know if Twitch is still boost to stream. Yeah, it's still a thing.
Okay, because we don't know exactly how exactly it works, because a lot of other websites have similar ideas where if you pay a subscription for an upgraded service, you gain certain abilities or certain extra goodies. Like you get to boost a certain creator and its artwork, right? So like you don't have to pay to do the option. There's like this upgraded tier list. Like, hey, here's a standard user. They make their account, whatever. Then there's User Plus, and User Plus has all these goodies, and they can boost a specific artwork that will allow it to be seen by more people, and that ends up guaranteeing at least 500 viewers. Now imagine in Twitch, if you pay $5, it guarantees 500 people get recommended to you, and it could lead to other people rating you, other people noticing you, and yada yada yada. It could be a net positive. However, if this is a beta thing or it's still being done, like I can understand why it's sort of booty. But if like you pay $5 or multiple people, like let's just say 10 people pay $5, right? And you're literally plastered like at the top of the recommended list, or let's just say you want to watch Dead by Daylight or Warzone or Apex, right? And at the very, very top, 4 lines, you're somewhere in there. Well, like, dang, that's some pretty good recognition. Obviously, I'm not aware how it works with regards to this whole Twitch boosting thing, because honestly, I still recommend YouTube streaming, even though it is true that YouTube have seen streaming as a secondary thing. I recommend going on Facebook or on YouTube, mainly because of the algorithm and how broken it is, because both platforms have over 2 billion confirmed users, and it's crazy how the AI knows exactly what you need, because even the smallest things you do will definitely boost your results or your recommendation of your streaming channel to some random Mo Schmo in Australia, because he likes the exact same things you like, and he's getting recommended your live streams. But that's something I covered in our live stream episode. But with this whole movement towards YouTube streaming doing a lot better, I like to bring up the whole YouTube music thing, like I did in my past episode. Like it's something that's not like Spotify, that Spotify doesn't like. Spotify has its reach in a lot of things, like you can connect it to your console, you can connect it to a whole bunch of other things that YouTube Music doesn't, but it doesn't have the library that YouTube Music has at this point. So like you have to pick your,
Well, because it has the benefit of being fucking YouTube, so
Right.
like people could still upload their own thing. Like I can't listen to fucking Death Grips Techie on Spotify because it's not there yet, but I could still pull it up on YouTube Music because someone uploaded it.
Right. So the only thing that I truly enjoy about Spotify is just connecting it. Like if I'm on a PS5 and I'm playing Fallout 76 and I want to listen to music for my own playlist, right? There's Spotify, but YouTube Music doesn't have that luxury. But again, it's YouTube, right? But YouTube is going through that same thing, but it's in a market where it doesn't treat streaming the same way, because Twitch obviously is the place to stream if you have an audience already. So I'm glad that YouTube is putting more of a focus, but specifically the head of YouTube streaming or YouTube gaming, whatever his handle is or whatever his title is. But he's a pretty cool dude. He lays out a lot of statistics, a lot of graphs, a lot of like data, and it's pretty cool following him. And if you're interested in streaming, really look at your options, because this dude, I forgot his name already. What was his name, Daniel? The one who was
I'm
the
I'm looking it up right now.
but, but he
YouTube.
gives a good data for streaming, and heck, sometimes he's even advertised Twitch and Facebook gaming over Facebook.
Ryan White.
Yeah.
Ryan White.
So
There you go.
a lot of
That's
it,
the guy you're
he
looking
likes
for.
posting data as a whole when it comes to streaming, and consequently, he's even advertised like, hey, Twitch is better for streaming, Facebook's better for streaming, because he puts out data, literally uncensored
That
data.
and he was on that platform.
Yeah. So what's great about him is that for the most part, at least with this track record, he definitely doesn't hold back, and he gives you, hey, this is the current affairs of the streaming market. What's benefiting certain quarters, like in Q1, Q2, Facebook streaming did better here, Twitch did a lot better there. This is where YouTube lands. And honestly, he's amazing. He's got a lot of data. He makes it seem a whole lot more it's easier to take in. There's this dude named Devin Nash. He's great when it comes to data as well. If you want to get into streaming, these are like the two people that I recommend, just because they give you data in a nice, easy way to take it in. And I recommend following them, just because if it is what it is, and you'll able to get for the most part, Devin Nash is biased, and so is this dude from YouTube. But for the most part, they try to give out data unbiased as possible. But obviously,
Yeah, I'm the kind of guy that's like, if you're gonna explain something to me, you have to say it in a way that's like, okay, you have the evidence to prove it. You know what I'm saying? If you just tell me it's just better or this and that, you need to provide information, or statistics or data or things like that. But yeah, so yeah, I want to bring that up with the whole like compare and contrast. You got YouTube Gaming, which they've admitted, okay, we need to improve.
right.
We need to get better search algorithms. We need to get better clipping potential. We need to do this and that. But also speaking about that, I actually relate the fact that they said they're working on a way, because again, like I've always said, that if you want to grow as a streamer, you have to make content outside of your streams in order to get more eyes towards you. And I like the fact that they said not only we're going to improve the clipping option, we're also going to make it possible to convert those clips into vertical videos that you could put on your TikTok or your YouTube Shorts. And that's kind of cool, because it's like, oh shit, not only you're making clipping more searchable, but you're also making clipping more easier and more better for people to make content for elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's like the main reason why I'm considering just permanently switching over to YouTube. And no, I'm not banned off Twitch. I know that's like the common thing people say, like, oh, you're streaming on YouTube because you get banned on Twitch. No, I'm still there. I just saw potential future on streaming on YouTube rather streaming on Twitch, because I'm going to make YouTube content there. I want to make YouTube Shorts. I want to make a community page. I want to do this and that. Twitch is so on the far end of the room where it's like, yeah, I'm only going to stream there. That doesn't really work with me, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what most people do, is that they already are, contract under Twitch, because with Twitch you do have an exclusivity contract. So most people, when they want to switch over, they gotta like wait for that contract to run out, and then they could switch over, right? And I think that's like a good thing to say. And as far as like my experience go, I will say that streaming on YouTube there's things I really like about it as a streamer. Like for my first YouTube stream, there's things I really like about it, and there's things that kind of fucked me up. But granted, I'll just give the quick rundown. I really love the idea that you could schedule a stream ahead of time. I love that feature. I like the fact that I could treat it like a video, where it's like, hey, I'm going to go live at 6 o'clock. Here's the YouTube link. If you don't want to wait in the chat, you click a remind button that I go live in 15 minutes. And if you want to wait until the stream goes active, you could go ahead and just tune into the stream the moment it goes live. I love that feature, because there's been this debate and discussion lately about should starting soon screens be a thing. Because going back to Twitch, for example, as someone, if you're watching a Twitch streamer that has ads on, well, no, they can't even turn off ads, because you could do that on YouTube, you can't do that on Twitch. Like, you're gonna go, imagine you want to give random Joe Schmo here with 5 viewers, like, you want to give him a shot, he's streaming this game that you like, and you're like, I'm gonna give him a watch. You click on his fucking stream, then you get through 3 ads, 15-second ads, and then after all those ads are done, you get a fucking starting soon screen. That's ridiculous, and people are gonna like be pissed off, and they're gonna be like, man, I'm not gonna fucking sit through this shit again. So then they leave. But with YouTube, with the whole fact, like, hey, you could schedule the stream, you could wait in the chat room, and then when the stream starts, it goes live. I like that. I really fucking dig that, The only thing that I did have a little bit of issues, that the best way I could describe YouTube is that YouTube added, I guess, a middleman to the process. I don't know if you ever streamed on Twitch, Marcos, but when you stream on Twitch, you're given one stream key, and then you put that stream key in OBS, and then from that OBS you click start streaming, and then it treats it like a video signal, and then bam, it goes on to your channel, right? With YouTube, they try to add like a middleman to the whole process, where it's like you have to click start on OBS, and then you have to wait for the signal to hit the YouTube, and then if YouTube detects the signal, then later you have to click go live on YouTube, and then later you go live on the website. I thought that was like an unnecessary step. I thought I could see the reason why it exists, because I guess to them it's called auto stop and auto start and auto stop, where it's like if you click live on OBS, the stream goes live on YouTube, right? But I guess the reason why they introduced that feature is because in case if you're having like a buggy OBS for some reason and your stream just dies off, YouTube will basically be like, oh, the stream isn't done yet. The stream is just having problems. He'll come back later, And I could see why that's a feature, but man, I turned that shit off. That thing was like way too, like it was such an unnecessary middleman. Like I really didn't like that, but whatever. That's just my only gripe. But then again, it was my first stream. I think I figured it out. It's one of those things you got to learn to do it the first time, and then afterwards you do it better. Like the quote Prince said, like they say the first time isn't the best, but I would do it all over again. You know what I'm saying?
I've never enjoyed. I don't mind mid rolls, right? That doesn't bother me. But one reason I hate going on Twitch is I go into someone's channel, I want to watch their things, I'm immediately hit with an ad. I immediately click off, and I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna watch.
Yeah,
this.
it's crazy.
I'm not gonna watch this. Just not even.
Statistically speaking, over 50. I'm willing to bet over 50% of your new viewership leave because they don't want to sit through that fucking ad that you can't turn off.
Which is one of the reasons why statistically, this is one of the things that I will say his name again. Devin Nash actually points out. If you want to get into streaming, please look at his stuff. Highly recommended. But like when I'm on YouTube, I don't get an ad mainly because I have that YouTube Premium that I had for years now. Because I've been using my phone a lot for YouTube, like to the point where it's like my most used app, because I run a lot of things in the background, and while I'm literally just like podcast, music, whatever in the background while I'm doing my day-to-day tasks, and there's no ads, and I'm happy with that. But if I'm going, like even with Facebook gaming, I get mid-rolls. Mid-rolls does not bother me whatsoever, because they're short clips, they're short ads. Literally the longest ad I always get is 15 seconds. And that's it. And there's always one ad. Sometimes it's a second ad, but you can skip the second ad if you want. But when it comes to Twitch, and it's right at the beginning, I literally click off. I literally can't. And usually when you, let's just say I'm on Daniel's stream, and he raids someone, like a friend of mine, right? With the raid, I don't see, for the most part, an ad. However, I feel like that's a preferred way of seeing someone else's channel, because the ad just like, it really turns me off. And I really don't like going on Twitch for that reason. And there's no way around it either. Because
unless you're subscribed to that channel, which you have to give money to Twitch, and then that money goes back to the streamer. There's no like YouTube Premium equivalent. That's the point. That's the thing. Yeah. And like with YouTube, like I said, you could just turn off the ad. You could just be like, fuck it, I don't want an ad on my channel. Click it off. You know what I'm saying? And like with streamers, like yeah, I get it on Twitch. You could technically, like, if it's like, hey guys, I'm gonna go take a piss real quick, here's the ad, you make like $200 right there. Like, okay, I get that. Like, that's fine if I could, turn it on or whatever the fuck I want. But if it's an ad that is gonna play like right before someone tunes into my stream, I don't blame them if they fucking leave. That people patience are super fucking fickle.
I will say, with regards to Twitch's rules when it comes to like, hey, if you're gaming and you go to use the bathroom or whatever, and there's nothing playing, that's something Twitch doesn't like. And I'm just like, the guy went to go poop, dude. Relax. If he said he's gonna go poop,
it's lack of broadcaster. Yeah.
Like he said he's gonna go poop, dude. Like, what are you so upbent about? Like, just chill.
I don't know what's the stigma of that rule though, because I remember one time I was hanging out with a friend of mine, right? And I was watching him stream, and I'm like, hey man, are we still gonna get pizza? He's like, yeah man, we're gonna get pizza. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm and he's streaming, and I'm like, all right man, well I'm on my way. He's like, all right, cool, dude, I'll see you later. I pick this motherfucker up, right? And I'm seeing him, and he's still streaming, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's gonna say bye to the chat. Hey chat, hi, how's it going? And I walk away, right? And I'm thinking like, okay, he's gonna say bye to the chat. He's gonna go eat pizza. Then later we're good to go, right? And and then later, as I'm, we're eating pizza, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, hey man, how's the stream going? He's like, oh, it's still going. I'm like, what do you mean it's still going? He's like, oh yeah, I just left it on as a starting soon screen. I'm like, you left the stream on? He's like, yeah, I'm just gone for a couple minutes. Like, dude, we've been here for like over 30 minutes. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? And I just was so surprised. Like, why the hell did you think that was a good idea? So I don't know how long that rule lasts in place. I know that's more like a joke where it's like, if you want to fuck with someone on Twitch or like on stream, you just be like, oh, lack of broadcaster, guy stepped out for 10 seconds to go take a piss. Like, we got to report him.
That's true.
But
that's still,
but yeah,
that still
I
bothers me. Like, who cares? No, your friend's situation. That's kind of like, why?
Why? Like, yeah, it's just like, why? Like, just end the stream and then come back and start the stream all over again.
That's true.
Fuck it, just stream us eating pizza at this point. Like, I would be more okay with that. And then it's like, we have to tell him, like, hey, man, you shouldn't do that because that's against the rules.
That's true. A lot of people, obviously, I'll end with this because I've repeated it time and time again.
Yeah, well, let's wrap, yeah.
Yeah, with regards to, like, big people going from YouTube, or from Twitch to YouTube.
One thing
that they're enjoying is the contracted hours that they're supposed to do, that they're supposed to stream, and it's a lot less on Twitch, so they don't a lot of these big creators are feeling less burnt out, less stressed to put in this content. Obviously, you need to be cut from a specific skill, a very special silk, to be able to be an entertainer for a certain amount of hours. Not everyone can be a Hassan who could stream for 2-digit hours every day, because that's just what he does and that's how he's wired to do it, right? Not everyone's like that. They get burnt out within like a month. So that being said, like, people are for the most part just happy with these exclusivity like contracts when it comes to like, not exclusivity contracts, I'm sorry, when it comes to big streamers coming with a big audience. Their contract says, hey, you need to record a set amount of hours, and I
don't think that's a thing though, because you could be a Twitch channel with a partnership and still not stream for months on end, and you can still be a partner. There's no contract telling you have to stream a certain amount every week. That's on the streamer to do that.
Right. From what I've seen, every streamer that's gone over from Twitch to YouTube, and this is their word, and it's multiple people saying the exact same thing. I don't know what I'm talking about because I've never done it, but this is something that's been reoccurring, that they're happy with the hours that they're supposed to stream, because now in their contract they're supposed to only put a certain amount of they're supposed to put less hours. I don't know what their contract said.
I don't know. It's just that idea. I don't know. I think it might be something outside of the platform, but I don't know about, like, if you're talking about like a sponsor stream, okay, yeah, I could get behind that. But as far as like, I don't think YouTube or Twitch has ever told you have to stream 40 hours, you have to stream X amount of hours. I think that that's on the streamer's end.
For benefits or to get like the full, whatever they're offering, we need this many hours from you, and that's it. It's from what I've heard, from what I've seen. Don't take it on me, take it on the people who've said it, and that's really it. But that's all I got to say about it, that people are at least happier with it's less stress on YouTube with regards to hours needing to broadcast.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm happy. It makes me definitely happy to see YouTube, pick up the slack. So I'm definitely looking forward to see 2022 how things are going to drastically change. I think Twitch really needs to start realizing that, hey, I know that we're the top streaming platform, but we have YouTube, which is the top YouTube video content platform. Now is a liable argument, and with every competition, especially in the capitalist system, you get a better product. So
Facebook
to me,
being the top social media platform, which has its own live streaming thing.
Well, it's now Meta. Marcos. We're now entering the metaverse.
Sure, but even then, like, although it doesn't really like advertise live streaming as much, there's a lot of live streaming there. It's kind of scary.
I only know one person who streams on. I found out that Z-Laner streams on Facebook, and I was like, oh, you stream on Facebook? Cool. I'm not gonna even waste my time. I'm sorry, I can't. Mm-hmm. I can't. Mm-hmm. I can't. I refuse to use Facebook. But yeah, holy shit, it's 8 o'clock. We should definitely wrap up. So yeah, Marcos, let's go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the DKM podcast. If you haven't yet, please follow us on Twitter. If you haven't yet, please drop a subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We're definitely trying to get that to grow. As you guys know, you can listen to us on any audio streaming services like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You could listen to us on any of those platforms. So if you don't want to watch us on YouTube, you have that alternative over there. If you haven't yet, join our Discord server. We would love to have your company and see how we could grow our little community and see if we can make it to a bigger community. But I think we're done, folks. I think there's nothing else left to say. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Stay safe. Until next time. See ya.